Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Sports Exchange. I have a bang-up crew with me tonight. I have next to me would be Jacob Christner, the pundit's pundit. Hi, Jacob. How are you
How you
tonight?
doing tonight? We had a great show over the other side.
On Sideline Sports, Pundit's Pundit. Yep, and following us would be Confidential, so you can head on over there to watch that after us. Below Jacob is Jeremy, Smoking Jeremy B. Kneecap biting. How's
Hey,
Jeremy?
Who's not
everybody.
smoking? Who's not smoking right now?
Do not smoke in the house. Can't do that. But anyways, I am doing fantastic and happy to be here.
We're happy to have you too. And next to Smoking Jeremy B is Keegan. New to the
guys.
program. How are you, Keegan?
I'm doing great. First show on South Florida Tribune.
Very nice. We're happy to have you.
We are. We know you've been commenting in the comments section, previously. So we've told people, hey, if you do that, and we'll bring you on. You never know. So here's Keegan. Awesome. Well, great to have you with us tonight. So let's get to some of our topics. So let me throw a trivia question at you guys, because that's my newest thing. How many pitchers in MLB history have reached 200 wins?
I'll say 15.
Anybody else?
I think it was 12.
I would have to say in between there. I would say 13.
You think that you guys are lowballing it? There's 24.
Are we really?
There's 24 300 win pitchers. There is at least there are 4 active pitchers that have won 200, and there's 24 that have 300. Does anybody know how many 400 win pitchers there is?
That sounds like one.
Yeah.
What about 500?
That's one.
Do you know who they are?
Cy Young was 500.
Correct.
And
Gaylord Perry?
Nah, I can't say that. I can't say that. Not for let's see. Cy Young was 5'11", 400. That has to be someone from like the 20s, 30s, just because you had all that time,
Walter Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So,
from the Senators.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Clayton Kershaw became one of 4 reaching the 200 win mark this past week. Do we know the other active MLB pitchers that have hit 200 wins?
Let's see. Isn't there Justin Verlander?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There's Justin Verlander. There's definitely not Jacob deGrom.
Clayton Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw would be, yeah.
Is Scherzer one of them?
Yes.
Nice. And I'm out. What's the other?
Zackgreinke.
Oh, okay.
Got it. He's still around, but I didn't think he would be.
There are 96 players in MLB who have between 200 and 299 wins.
Wow.
So
that's going to be the limit now, though. That's going to be the limit now. It's like 300 is going to get more and more possible because you get all of these 4 inning no hitters, and oh my God, I got this boo boo.
Yeah.
And how many innings do you have to classify you as the winner of the game?
5.
5. Okay.
5 and a third. 5 and a third.
5 or 5 and a third.
It's 5 and a third because they have to make it through the first out of the 6th inning for it to be considered a quality start.
Okay. No, that's the difference between quality start and.
But that's the only way they get the win, because usually, if you look at the statistics, the pitchers that go 5 and a third win 85% of those games. The other 15% don't make it. So that's why I say 5 and a third.
Right. But those are the things, though. It's when you get Jacob deGrom crying about I have a little bit of soreness in my wrist, and then they're out. And it's like that's becoming more and more. That's becoming more and more, and it's kind of ridiculous to begin with. I mean, there isn't anybody more dominant than him when he's on. The issue is he's also bubble wrapped, and they still gets hurt anyway.
Just a heads up from Will Vogel, it hasn't started on YouTube.
I'm not sure why, but we're gonna keep it going because I don't want to. We don't have enough time to restart it or anything like
Yep.
that. We'll just put it up separately. So let's talk about NBA and the suspension of Draymond Green for one game. It's the second time in his career, and I don't know if any of you saw the play where he stomped on the player. Sabonis sustained a sternum contusion and is not playing the next game. Your thoughts?
Well, it's not showing it, but I'm able to comment on it.
Well, all that says is Sabonis needs to get the more in shape abs. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No. Really, the biggest thing about it is we're in an era where this is so egregious, and but yet everybody will keep playing back Kevin McHale's clothesline to Kurt Rambis over and over again. And that was a foul. You know what I mean? That was a foul. That was just a simple foul, and no one got kicked out. Everything, like I said, everything's run by the lawyers and agents now. Yeah. And it's like, and they're all afraid. And it's like, that really wasn't. That really, 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 really was not. I mean, it wasn't necessary for him to get that thing, but that wasn't anywhere near as brutal as what we've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? That really wasn't. It's like people are just so soft now. The people that are watching on TV now, it's a generation of soft. So it's like sometimes what did you say? You get lulled, you get a little numb to what you see. That's what happened. We got numb to the clotheslines and doing all that stuff. They're numb to a softer league, and and I'll tell you this right now: a lot of the fans would be crying in a field position if they saw the Mouse in the Palace up close and personal.
Oh, I agree. Smoking Jeremy B, your thoughts?
Well-deserved suspension. I mean, what else do you have to say about it? I mean, you do something that egregious, you deserve to be suspended.
Well, I'm not going to deny that, Smoking. I'm just saying that it's like fans are talking like the fans talking like it's the end of the world, and it's like we've seen a lot worse, and it's just the numbness of the world. People were numb to the roughness, and now they're numb to the softness. And it's like, and you suspended could have probably been for the rest of the deal, but it doesn't deserve to get all this. Oh my God, it's a fetal, because these people be in a field position with what we've seen. What all of us have seen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Keegan, your thoughts?
I think the league is right to suspend Draymond because if you watch that video clip, Sabonis didn't grab his foot. The way he landed, his arms were in the middle. Then Draymond just tripped, and out of anger, he stomped him. So the league has a right to suspend Draymond for one game. Draymond could have gotten more if he did something more with it, but other than that, a stomp should be one game.
Draymond has a history of letting his emotions get the best of him, I think. Yes. And I think sometimes they feel that they need to make a statement out of him, whether that's right or wrong. But I think they want to control the game so that no more players get hurt and stuff like that. So they got to kind of set a precedent. Because they gave him a flagrant 2 on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So since we're talking about suspensions, I don't know how many of you have followed the NHL, but Michael Bunting was given a 3-game suspension because he did an illegal check to the head of Tampa Bay Lightning's Eric Cernak. What do we feel about that, Keegan?
I don't follow too much of NHL, but anything to the head, unless if it's a fight, it's illegal.
Mm-hmm. Especially in hockey, and we're in the playoffs now, so a 3-game suspension is more than just like the NBA where it was 1 game for Draymond. This guy's got 3 games. Smoking Jeremy B, how about your thoughts?
I haven't been following much of NHL either. I'm sorry. I try, but once my team's out, I'm out.
Okay. Jacob?
Well, hockey, one big thing about this is in the end, I brought this up from our thing. The same goes from what our days were. This isn't from the NBA. This isn't the 80s anymore, and today's not the 90s. As far as what you see, there's a pile of them where you just see these checks to the head, and somebody goes down, they get back to the game. Thing is, you can't say that these players still aren't tough. There was a player that came back onto the ice after a period 75 stitches. They're still as badass as they ever can. It's just right now, head injuries. We are literally getting to a point where all these athletes now are getting CTE. They're commit suicide. They're, any of those type of situations, they'll have violence in the home. They can't control themselves. And that's what happened to Dave Duerson with the Bears. It's happened to Junior Seau. They're having all of these, and this can all happen. And it's like, they're trying to stop this because it can end sports as we know it if they didn't. I would love to be able to have the thing because that was fun, but it can end sports as we know it if something's not done.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that, but it's not as much as I had fun in those days. It's not the 80s. It's not the 90s. It is now. And literally, when there are fights, when there's injuries, cops get involved. Agents get involved, lawyers get involved. This is a different deal now. This isn't like walking back onto the ice. This isn't Bird walking up running up the steps after he banged his head against the thing. He'd been gone. There's no question they wouldn't let him do that anymore. Wouldn't let him after banging his head against the hardwood coming back. They wouldn't let that anymore. So it's like, do I wish? Sure. But at the same time, what do we say when there's a generation that doesn't know it? There's generations that don't know it. This gray hair, see this gray hair? There's the gray hair on smoking, obviously, at least on the beard. It's like, but it's like these gray hairs. We remember a bygone time, but we can't tell kids that. I'm trying to promote this right now. I was doing this earlier from my show. Okay. I was going to say smoking. I was bringing this. I was doing this, promoting this tonight. You want to know why? What the thing about this stuff is, Jeremy?
Why?
The biggest thing about this is the fact that this is the ages of 8 and 18 is one of the number one drinks. This is their world now. It's not ours. You can't just say, "Oh, this was back in my day." We sound like we had pet T-Rexes, and we sound like we had pet T-Rexes, and we can't say that. And it's not, especially when we can go 2 generations now since that time. I can go 2 generations watching. I'm 45 years old in August because I watched so early. But that's 2 generations since we've seen this. 2 generations is practically 2 generations is practically when Bird's gone, and he's still in the top 10 of most people's deal of all time. So how do we say that without sounding old as hell?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I mean, let's face it. CTE has been more prevalent. We're more aware of it than we used to be. And in hockey, we used to love going to the games, and you'd see fights, and they'd let them fight. Now you see them fight, but they stop the minute the helmets come off or they're down on the ground because they're afraid. So,
well, Malarchuk. Well, that whole Clint Malarchuk thing with the blade on the throat did that too with the down on the ground. They used to fight on the ground and not even try to bring in. You'd be seeing them drag around a bunch of referees trying to get the thing. But the whole on that kind of thing stopped the fighting on the ground.
Right. Okay, let's move over now to the NFL. Buffalo Bills Allen said that he plans on playing safer as his career progresses. He plays as a football player first and a quarterback second. Thoughts about what Buffalo Bills Allen said? Smoking Jeremy B. Let's start with you.
I missed it. Because the YouTube just went live finally. I was checking that because I was like, man, this is bad. But what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Damar Allen, he wants to come back.
No, it was Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen plays
Josh
safer
Allen,
as a career, and he's playing safer as his career progresses. He says he plays as a football player first and as a quarterback 2nd.
My fault.
And that might, no, that's okay. And that might have to change as he ages.
Right. Well, if you look, it's because Josh Allen really doesn't try to avoid contact. He tries to run through contact because he has the size and speed to do it. There's a lot of quarterbacks that don't have that. Lamar Jackson. But that being said, guys that are smaller need to run smart like Russell Wilson did, because that's why he's had so few injuries. He's not big of frame. He is of smaller stature, but he runs away from contact. He runs smart. And as he gets older, injuries will happen, and he'll have to run smarter. He'll have to be a little more ginger about going past that O-line to take on a linebacker head on.
Mm-hmm.
Keegan, your thoughts?
I think it's a smart Josh Allen. He's seen the injuries of DeMar Hamlin and Tua, concussions, and a severe injury by DeMar. Man, you don't want to take a hit like that and go out.
If he could throw as smart as he runs, he'd be great.
Yes.
Denzel Snipes.
Yes. Jacob? I'm sorry, Keegan, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done now.
Okay. See, Allen, the biggest thing about Josh Allen is the fact that we're heading right toward Cam Newton territory here. When you're 6'6" and you have that kind of thing and you run through everybody, you know what I mean? Well, yeah, Tebow. See, Tebow is a rarity.
Yes.
Tebow was such a rarity, and the fact that he was. See, we talked about this with I'm trying to think, with Levis, and he's got that stupid bodybuilders thing, and he's going to tear himself up. See, Tim Tebow was built like a Flintstones thing of granite, and stuff like that. He was built for the hits, where you're not built for that type of hit. You know what I'm saying? Those are the big things. Is we're heading toward that situation. And plus the fact now he can do that because the rules in the league are allowing the wide receivers to get away with even more and more and more and more. You can. We're going to get to the point where 6,000 yards becomes regular in the next 5-10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get to that point. And the thing is, they can start to that point where they can throw. And you talk about running. It's like we talked about this with. That's the thing I keep talking about with Justin Fields. Phenomenal runner, and he can hit open guys, mind you, but he can't hit anything else. And with the way that the wide receivers and the way the rules are going, it's not going to be lasting long. Just going by itself, you have to be able to make that throw, make those throws, especially when the wide receiver is given more leeway. So Allen needs to be playing safer. Basically, we were talking about DeMar Hamlin. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about DeMar Hamlin, and he's doing his thing. We were saying the reason he's going to want to play is because he doesn't have his pension yet. But Josh Allen is going to want to play safer because it's obvious that somewhere in the collective bargaining agreement made even more for the quarterbacks and the wide receivers, so he can make those throws and be able to do all that. And it's like, well, it makes it easier when he doesn't have to extend the play like that anymore. When he can be able to do that kind of stuff. And plus the fact he's getting older and he doesn't want to be like Cam Newton.
What about Tua?
One thing about Tua right now is he's actually taking jiu-jitsu classes and learning how to fall, which means you learn how to roll and you learn how everything like that. And there was a guy that I knew that was trying to see if he should take pro wrestling classes and learn how to take bumps. You learn how to lift your head when you take a fall like that, I mean, but it's like he did the next best thing, the jiu-jitsu. I did jiu-jitsu for a year and a half or so. So I know the role. I get the point. So, but as far as those things right now, he's going to be given. They're already finding backups and everything. We don't know if he's got another chance or whatever. If he can avoid them things, he'll be just fine. But if not, he doesn't have much longer, and he's just trying to extend it.
Well, when you said that he's trying to extend it,
yeah.
There's news out that he was thinking about retiring.
He's not going to right now, though.
Yeah, right now, yeah. But there was news that he was thinking about retiring during the concussion.
Well, that's what as I said, when you're learning how to fall, that's your last chance. You're learning how to fall, that's your last shot. of doing this thing because if you take another hit like that, you're probably done.
Yeah.
So it's those. So no, Tua. Tua is just one of those. It's like they just need to protect him with that line. They've got a perfect system. They can get another wide receiver. They've already got Sherfield. They've already got Tyreek Hill. They've already got
Waddle.
Yeah, thank you. Jalen Waddle. They've got those. So all they need is a line. They've got a perfect system. They can get 40 points a game like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why is everybody still wondering about their offensive line? It's like that's the first thing I'd want. I almost want jail bars just between everybody else. Might as well put it on that, I'd almost want that in comparison because if Tua's got that kind of arm and he's catching everything and he's throwing it and they're catching it on the fly, they got a perfect system. It's like, why not get the offensive line?
Mm-hmm.
So should Damar Hamlin return to the field? And I know, Jacob, we hit this on Pundit's Pundit, but want to get everybody's take. Should he continue to play or should he hang it up? Jacob, go ahead, since I know.
Yeah, I have a belief they should hang it up because I brought this up earlier. I've had that belief, but he's not going to because what happened was 2 years in the league. You get your pension at 4. He's talking all the right word. He's saying all the right things. But I mean, you have to do because people on Twitter and people from social media and people from fantasy football don't understand real life. So real life is that he made $850,000 last year and had to fight like hell with lawyers to get that money because he would have lost half. If that wasn't in the middle of if that was in the locker room, we didn't see it, that little collapse. He would have made the end of the year he would have lost half his money. That's on the collective bargaining agreement in the first place. He got his money because of his lawyers, but they still don't have the pension for him. So I would like him to go on with his life and do all that stuff, but what else does he know? So do you play 2 more years and you take your risk? Because you've got a kid, you got a wife. He got a kid, maybe 2, you got a wife, and you got $850,000 is not much. Not especially with taxes. So it's like he's trying to get his, and it's like, what else can he do? And that's the tough part of this because personally, to me, I'm for a collective bargaining agreement that makes emergencies, like what he had, into an automatic pension if you need to retire. I'm not saying like that maybe a thing where you lose your leg or maybe where you have your heart. I'm not talking about a total, not injuries that just collect. That doesn't need because you don't need it all. But I'm talking about emergency like that. You should get it automatically. It should be an emergency rule. Because it keeps guys like this from coming back and possibly killing themselves.
Smoking Jeremy B, your thoughts?
The Damar Hamlin thing, just because of how rare that type of injury is for that type of heart attack to be in it has to be the perfect sinus rhythm in activity and a hit at the perfect spot to cause that to happen. There's only 2 players in NFL history that's had a heart attack on the field. One was a Detroit Lion back in 1971 or 72.
71, it was Chuck Hughes.
Yep. And the other one was Damar Hamlin. But Chuck Hughes, it's because he was sick before he came and played the game and refused to sit out. But that's a whole different story, and it's a different situation. But it still was a heart attack on the field. Damar Hamlin's, I don't know if the odds go up because you've had that injury of it happening again. But if the doctors in the medical field clear him, there's nothing we can do about it. It's his decision at that point.
Keegan, your thoughts?
I think, back what Will said, when Damar was playing, he was a backup. He just came in for an injury. But when he went, he's at best a bench player or a special teamers player. So if he wants to come back, let him. And he's cleared to play, let him. As an organization like the Bills, they need to protect him at all costs and put him on special teams so he doesn't take a hit like that again.
I say he's been cleared by 3 special doctors that have said he's cleared to play. It's his decision. As long as he's making the decision himself and he has the knowledge and the doctors have talked to him and told him what the risks are, it's up to his decision. But like Jacob said, it's what he knows. I mean, and if he has 2 more years to go to get his pension, he's going to do it, probably push himself a little bit more than the average because he wants that pension. Okay, next topic. The Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts agree to a 5-year extension that keeps the quarterback under contract through the 2028 season. He is now going to be the highest paid player in NFL history. His new 5-year deal is worth $255 million. Contract also includes just over $179 million in guarantees and a no trade clause. Smoke and Jeremy B, you want to start?
Sure. The 179 million is the key. Why? The Eagles are nowhere near as stupid as the Browns or Arizona. That means a lot of it more is set to be signing bonuses and spread out so it doesn't affect the cap as much. It's a very smart move. Everybody can say what they want, but you've got a quarterback that just helped lead a team to the Super Bowl. You keep him.
Mm-hmm.
Keegan?
I think the contract's well deserved, but the only problem is quarterbacks that want a contract now are going to look at back that and want more. Or want a contract just like that. Like Lamar Jackson right now. Looking for a contract. He might want that type of money, but Ravens or another organization might not want to pay him that money. So it all depends. It's a good move by the Eagles, but I think it hurts the league because more quarterbacks will want that money.
Jacob?
Lamar, all this did, truthfully, and I think he deserves this money, but all this did was absolutely put a kibosh to Lamar Jackson's the amount of money that he wants. It's what he did. And it's because the fact remains that you get a guy who just took $80 million less than what Lamar Jackson asked for after making a Super Bowl when Lamar's won 1 playoff game. And you've got that. And those are the things that you get right there. And it's like now Lamar, the biggest thing about it is Lamar now doesn't have he now does not have a lot of leverage and he doesn't have an agent. And those are the big things that go with this. But I'm happy for Hurts. I'm happy for Hurts, but I mean, it kind of makes me sad in a certain way that it has to be in Philadelphia because 2 straight losses and and those idiot fans will just go all over the place on him. And they're going to forget that he had a Super Bowl. And it was like, and you did that kind of stuff. And it's like, see, it didn't happen to Foles during the time when he was there again because he was on the bench again. He was on the bench again and he was allowed to be a hero for that thing. But it's like Charlie Manuel led him to 2 World Series, 4 division titles, and they absolutely ran his family out one night because they were struggling a couple things. Philadelphia fans are brutal and they're ridiculous. Yeah. And that kind of money in that city, I would not want it because I'd be starting to swing. There'd be some fistfights over there. They're nuts. They're absolutely out of their damn minds. And it's like, but I'm as far as Jalen himself, I'm happy for him. But now he's going to get beaten, but it's not going to be beaten by Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's sway on over from the NFL over to the PGA. Tiger Woods went through surgery to address a post-traumatic arthritis in his right ankle. The operation, described as a subtalar fusion procedure, is the latest for Woods' right leg after he suffered the severe injuries in the 2021 car accident. Do we think he's going to be playing in another major tournament?
If he does, he will. He'll miss the cut every time, and he'll miss the cut every time. Here's why: that's the thing. That fusion was brought up by Hulk Hogan in one of his books. Or closer to it, what his kind of thing was. It means he can walk up of a thing on a green, but you can't go down a hill. Not well. not with that fusion, not with that kind of flexibility. There's no flexibility on that thing. He talked about it himself. He could go up, he could walk up the thing. A Hulk could. He could walk up it, but he can't go down on a certain slope. And that's what's going to happen to Tiger. So he's going to have to. There's going to be a lot more walking to go around on a plain slope, and you're going to wear out, especially when you've got 18 holes and 7,200 yards. So no, if he does play again, he's not going to be effective anymore. It's just because it's going to be a lot more walking. He's not going to be able to be efficient like he was.
Smoking Jeremy B, your opinion?
Oh, he'll play in majors again. He won't do anything, but that's probably all he'll play in because he's chasing that 6th major.
Keegan?
I think it's time to hang it up. Tiger had an amazing run. He just had his car crash, and he's getting injured. All this is happening for a reason. His body won't take another PGA, another majors. I think it's time for him to let it go. You have a nice run. You'll be one of the best golfers around, and you need to let it go. You're not going to play another one. If you do, you're just not going to make it.
He recently played at the Masters. After a record-tying 23rd straight made cut at the event, he withdrew during the round 3. He has competed in 5 official events since the car accident in February 2021. Probably one of the most notable, especially this generation, of PGA players. Okay, with that,
you know what the crazy part is? You know what the crazy part of all this is? Charlie's 12 years old. Charlie's never seen his dad dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Never, ever seen his dad dominant. And his dad was one of the most dominant athletes we've ever seen in our life. But just because of all the insanity and all the everything, all he is dad. Mm-hmm. And cool, too, that he's a good dad and he gets thing. But Charlie, there's going to be a thing in his head where Charlie, in his head, is thinking he's better than his dad. And it's probably like, well, it's all the injuries and everything. But Charlie will never make records that Tiger Woods ever made. He's never going to have, even though you can watch all the highlights you can get and hear the stories from Dad, you'll never completely understand the pure and utter dominance that he was. I still think Jack is the greatest of all time because of the majors. But the dominance that the Tiger Woods had, Charlie will never know. No, most people will never know, and that's the whole point. He's 12 years old. The end of his dominance ended 14 years ago. Crazy part of it all.
I agree. Well, if you're enjoying this version of the Sports Exchange, please hit that red subscribe button, share, like it, send it to all your friends and family you think that would enjoy it, or any of our shows on our South Florida Tribune. We are striving for 1,000 subscribers. If you like to listen to us on the audio version, listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, or Google, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you still at $9.99? You need my help.
We do. Come on, one more. Come on. With that, let's go around with our parting shots, and we're going to start with Jacob because I know Confidential is coming up on Sideline Sports at the top of the hour. So, Jacob, start with your parting shot.
I brought this up before our show tonight. Well, that's true too, Will. I brought this up with this tonight, and it's like there is I'm glad for the pundit that I invented pundit, and I can have pundit views and be able to have interviews with people and have dialogue. The biggest reason why is we need a world where we start having dialogue again and start talking. Stephen A. Smith just had Clay Travis on the other day, and he just got absolutely blistered online because he had Clay Travis, somebody else. And he was saying, I'm not going to stop doing that. Stephen A. gets it. Clay Travis gets it. People are getting it. People are tired of the chaos. They're tired of the fighting. It's like, and a lot of this is started by bots to begin with. We need to have dialogue. We need to have dialogue, and we need to start getting to the point where our government starts working together again like it once did. We need to have things where we start talking together like once did, and we start ignoring the chaos and the radicals. Because it's like that is what made the Stars and Stripes and that flag in the first place and that Constitution. is differing opinions that meld together to make a decision. And it's like, do I have my political philosophy? Absolutely. No question. When I would go to a place, then if there's a place that I would go to and I would go help on a campaign or anything like that, I know who I'm going to help, and I'm not bringing it up here. It's fine. People will know anyway. It's not the point, though. People are going to have it on their side. May the best man win or woman. You know what I mean? May them win. But in the end, when the one wins, let's start working together. Let's stop the chaos. Let's stop the ridiculous, the radical, the absurdity, the getting revenge, all that. Let's stop all this and let's start getting a dialogue and because one thing that we can take from the old school is starting. Maybe we have a drink or something like Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan. Maybe let's start having a drink, or 50. Even though I'm not a drinker, but let's start having that and we go through it and start getting things done. Because guess what? Those two weren't radicals. They just believed in what their side was. Radicals are going to kill us if we don't start fighting back on them. And fighting back is something like this.
Jacob, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, because I know you want to get off because you got to go to your other program.
Yeah.
So let us know how we can get a hold of you.
Yeah. Sunday nights, the Basket Bros. Monday nights, Pundit Views. And I'm putting up my next 5 weeks of shows pretty soon. I'm getting my next 5 weeks of guests. Nothing Tuesday. Wednesday nights is 3 shows. The Pundit's Pundit, this one, and Confidential, where I'm going on next. Thursday nights, once in a while, depending on my time and what we can get, Yin and Yang with TJ Sansa. We'll try and figure this out. Friday nights, When They Need Me, Gauntlet. So, and then it just go back and forth. And then I'm working on a couple movies also.
Just a couple little things there. You're not busy at all.
No, not in the least.
Well, thanks,
Thank
Jacob.
you very much, Candy. Thank you for being on tonight, and get well to Scott.
Thanks, you too. Okay.
Take care, Spoken.
With that being said, Smokin' Jeremy B, your parting shot.
There's a rumor out there that the Lions want to trade up to 2 to get CJ Stroud, which in the circles that I've had and the people I've talked to, the Panthers still want Stroud more than Bryce Young. So I don't get where people are thinking this way. And that being said, if it's Bryce Young, I do not want the next Mighty Mouse as quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. Keegan.
I would like to go back to the suspensions in baseball. Max Scherzer just got suspended 13 games for using illegal substance in his glove. I think, and he swore on his child's life that he didn't have anything in his glove. I think he needs to man up, don't swear on anybody's life, and take full responsibility if there was a substance in his glove.
So did they really come out and give him a 13-day suspension?
Yeah.
13-day or 13 game?
13 games.
13 game, not 13 day.
I thought.
Wow. So, you know what this reminds me of? Remember the old guy in the movie Major League?
I haven't seen it, but...
You haven't seen Major League?
No.
Oh my God, that's one of the classic comedy baseball movies ever. You have to watch it. There was this old pitcher, and he was talking to the guy with the young arm, and he goes, well, I don't have your kind of pop to the ball anymore, so I got to put anything on it I can. He was naming off all this stuff, including Vagisil. And he goes, and if I really want to make the ball sink, I just put a little jalapeno pepper juice up in my nose, get that running good and snotty.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Okay. Well, because I thought I'd read that they hadn't suspended him yet because he actually got tossed out of the game, not for the substance, but because he argued about the substance. And so it was iffy whether he was going to get the 14-day or not. But if I could be wrong.
He has the option to appeal too, but he will definitely appeal, but he'll lose if they found something.
Okay. So my parting shot, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but kudos to the Dodgers. Back in 2019, the Dodgers placed outfielder Andrew Toles on the restricted list, but didn't offer up very many details on why. It was later discovered that he was dealing with anxiety and struggles with his mental health. The hope was that he could eventually return, but that day never came. In June 2020, Toles was back in the news after he was arrested for trespassing at an airport in Florida. His family shared the depth of Andrew's struggles and revealed that he was living on the streets and that they were having trouble getting him home. The Dodgers have done their part to help the Toles family by continuing to keep him in the organization by re-signing him yearly so that he'll have access to professional help. If more organizations did that, this world would be a better place, because mental health is a huge problem in this world that goes undressed, goes unnoticed, is hushed about, not talked about. It's starting to be talked about more. It's starting to be recognized more. And I applaud people that come out and that talk about it. You know, for the story to come out about Andrew Toles, for Giannis Antetokounmpo, he came out and he had said he had issues. There is a couple of different athletes that, you know, some of the gymnasts and what's her name, Siles, the gymnast, she came out and talked about it. More and more people need to be aware that this is a problem in America, and it doesn't take just one person to solve it. It takes all of us. But again, kudos to the Dodgers for keeping him on the payroll, because he probably wouldn't be able to afford, if he was living on the streets, he probably couldn't afford the insurance that he needs to get the help that he truly does need. So
I'll say another name on that list, Tiger's own Austin Meadows just left for mental health.
Mm-hmm. More and more people are becoming aware of it, and that's a good thing, because we really need to help. That, I mean, let's face it, that's part of why we have had as many mass shootings as we've had too. A lot of it has to do with mental health somehow, and I know that there's people that are going to be on gun laws here or there, or what should we be able to sell, what should we not be able to sell, but there should be something that goes with their mental state. And I know that probably, you know, has something to do with HIPAA laws, and I don't know where the fine line is or what we can do, but somebody that's having mental issues and anxiety like that should not be able to buy a gun 5 days before. We all know about the mass shooting in the bank in Kentucky, and he was having issues. His family knew he was having issues, yet he was able to buy a gun 5 days prior and walked into the bank and killed 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the answer is. I don't propose that I have the answers. I just know we have to start addressing the issues, because if we don't address the issues, they're not going to get better. So with that, if you like this show, please hit that red subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Like it, share it with everybody. If you want to listen to the audio version, it can be heard on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to comment in our, you know, we appreciate all the people that have commented. Will, Big Dan Davis, Denzel, we appreciate everybody commenting in the chat room. We also would love to hear any ideas you have for future shows. You can email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. Never know, like Keegan's here. He started out in the chat room talking, and look,
that's one of my guys.
I know. If you'd like to sponsor the show or advertise on the show, please call us, Scott, 954-304-4941. We broadcast live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Typically, you see Scott in this role as opposed to me, but I'm being, the relief pitcher, the backup quarterback, whatever you want to call it. I'm in here filling in for him. He's feeling a little under the weather. We hope you feel better, Scott, and you can. Your chair is warm and ready for you. But Keegan, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
You can get me. I just recently started Twitter, and you can see me on Kneecap Betting with Jeremy B on Fridays.
Awesome. Jeremy, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, you can find me on the SouthFloridaTribune.com under the Motor City Tribune heading with the list of authors such as Scott Morganroth and George Eichhorn and myself. You can also find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Biting with Smoking Jeremy B, where I do 2 shows. One is bi-weekly or every 3 weeks. That's my NFL show. I decided to do it next week because it's the Wednesday before the draft, and we can do some mock drafts and have some fun, people.
Yeah.
And then also, every Friday is the Lions Fan Cave chat. That being said, you can also find me here anytime Scott needs me because I'm his go-to guy.
You are. Thank you so much for being that go-to guy too, Jeremy. So if you like this show, we talk about a variety of sports on the Sports Exchange. You never know. It could be an interview with a former player, or it could just be us talking. On Thursday nights, I know tomorrow night we're going to have Inside the Pigskin. We're going to be talking about the NFL draft. We actually have an ex-NFL player in Melfar Jr. He's on that show. So if you'd like to catch any of our other episodes of that, we do have Fire Up Michigan, Fire Up Wisconsin, Fire Up Florida. You never know what you're going to catch on those. We have no limits. We did have former FAU basketball coach, I can't now. My name Mike Jarvis was on our show the day of the Final Four. So you never know what you might see or hear. And I can tell you this last weekend, we were at the FAU spring football game. We were at the Miami Hurricanes spring football game. We were at the Marlins game. You never know what you're going to find. We're going to be putting up some new video clips as well on the South Florida Tribune's YouTube channel. So head on over there and check out all of our different broadcasts and all of our different videos, because some are live and some are videos with some of the players after games or just talking with them at media day. You never know. So on behalf of Jacob Christner, the pundit's pundit, Smoking Jeremy B, and Keegan, and my name's Candy. I just want to thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Sports Exchange. Catch us next time.